gente, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Aquí Damián nuevamente para ustedes y bienvenidos al canal. El día de hoy tenemos, como pueden ver en pantalla, a Stanley Parable, uno de los recomendados, un juego que había puesto hace poco como publicación de Instagram que iba a estar jugando y bueno, hoy ha llegado el día de jugarlo. Si no conoces qué es Stanley Parable, es un juego en primera persona de toma de decisiones, donde lógicamente según las decisiones que vayas tomando vas a conseguir completar uno u otro final, lógicamente. La verdad es que no he querido comerme ningún spoiler cuando me lo recomendaron, solamente lo busqué para descarga, vi el tráiler y me llamó bastante la atención, así que vamos a jugarlo, vamos a ver de qué va. Las configuraciones las tengo todas hechas, así que vamos a comenzar directamente una nueva partida. Is never the end, is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Vale.
And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
¿Soy yo? Vale, soy yo. Vale, lo que había dicho al principio. Es un juego del cual vi el tráiler y me llamó bastante la atención porque estos juegos de toma de decisiones con finales distintos y todo eso, que uno de repente tiene que tratar de descifrar por dónde ir y todo para saber cómo sacar uno u otro final, me llaman mucho. Sala de reuniones. Vale. Aunque en realidad no sé cuántos finales pueda llegar a tener este juego. Por lo general, no muchos.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Oficina.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Así parece.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Up. ¿A dónde arriba? ¿Allá?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale, de momento veo la puerta de atrás, que podía ir a la derecha en vez de a la izquierda. Y ahora veo esto, que puedo subir o bajar. Supongo que lo primero vamos a hacerlo de forma lineal, según lo que nos va diciendo la voz. oficina del jefe.
Stepping into the manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
¿Dónde veo eso?
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Vale, aquí está. Pero me lo acaba de decir y supuestamente yo no tendría cómo saber.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Me lo repite. Veamos qué pasa.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vale. Ascensor. Aquí no me dice que tengo que irme al ascensor, así que... Hola. No sé qué acabo de hacer, pero... Supongo que al ascensor. Decía que no hubiera camino por ese lado, en todo caso. O por lo menos eso parecía. Ok. ¿A dónde estamos yendo?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Vale. Respuesta.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Vale, otro camino. Mind Control. What?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Esto no sé si... No sé si será solo a mí. Me imagino que no. Pero recuerda mucho a Cerebro. Cerebro creo que se llamaba. El dispositivo que usaba el Profesor X en X-Men.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Control mental. Wow.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Okay.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Okay.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
5. Las luces blancas son números. 3. Parece que 4 se ve ahí arriba. 4, 1, 2. Me acaba de decir que tengo que prohibir que se vuelva a controlar a las personas. Mind controls. Awaiting input. Aquí veo 2 botones más. System power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Habrá que darle off. Supongo. Hola. Me puedo mover, pero no veo nada.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
What?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Vale.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Esta es la open door. ¿Será ya un final? ¿En serio? Esto es una pantalla, no me jodas.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Was happy. Ok. Cargando de nuevo. De momento no sé qué les parece, pero volvemos al principio. What? ¿Eso era un final?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, supongo que así son los finales. O sea, directamente te hace un reinicio del juego cuando consigues un final. Y supongo que el final que sacamos debe ser dentro de los más positivos. Entonces podría intuir que no hay que hacerle caso tanto a la voz, que la voz te guía como directamente hacia
When
la
Stanley
historia,
came to
lo
a
cual
set
tiene
of two
sentido.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vamos a probar el de bajar la escalera.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Okay.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Eso mismo.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Dale. Ahora en vez de subir, bajamos. Pero what? Me atasco con todo. ¿Qué está pasando? A ver. Nada. Un
But
auto,
Stanley just couldn't do it.
¿Cómo
He
está haciendo
considered the
esto?
possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Pero es que no puedo
And
volver
then
porque las
something
puertas se
occurred to
cierran.
Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example,
Como que estoy
why
dando
couldn't
vueltas.
he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter,
Vale, lo
these
que dije
rooms
yo.
were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He
Empieza
just
la locura.
hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
I'm dreaming.
He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Wow.
And it too appeared. It was so much
Pero qué
fun. And
cojones.
Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Wow.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Okay.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
I am okay.
I'm okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Justo acaba de pasar un
This
auto.
is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariela.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ok, ese era yo. Otro final, supongo. ¿Hasta qué punto hay que estar cuerdo para recordarte que tienes una reunión y irte y dejar el cuerpo de un hombre muerto en la calle? Da para pensar.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Eso es nuevo. Lo cual es bien, significa que estamos avanzando. Y choco.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Voy a ir por acá de nuevo porque al final de... llegando a la parte del control mental había
Yet there
una...
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Había una puerta hacia, o sea, un camino hacia la izquierda que me dejaba seguir. Así que voy a probar eso ahora.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Vale, estamos acá.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Vale.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Vale. No tiene muy buena pinta que digamos, pero supongo que será un final. Pensé que iba a ser peor. La verdad. Y parece que va a ser peor.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No puedo hacer nada para salir de acá. Oh! The fuck?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What? ¿Pero qué es este lugar, loco? Hello? Vale.
And yet it would
Me
be
había
just a
atascado.
few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
¿Pero qué?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Button sounds. Vale. Son como pistas. Tiene que ver con el sonido entonces. El que la clave de los botones esté bien hecha. La bicicleta, what? Warzone. Green light. Hello. Correos del narrador. The Office. What? Una versión previa del juego. No he llegado a ese punto todavía. Me acabo de comer un spoiler. A ver, ¿hay algo aquí con un botón? Trailers. Noise screen. ¿Y eso? What? Ascensor. Exit. Supongo que tengo que ir ahí. Y el resto van a seguir siendo como nuestra oficina. Es curioso, es como un museo, pero a la vez como que te va dando datos sobre el juego. Habrá que irse acá. Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Okay. Debo bajar el switch. Vale, ahora sí.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to
Acaba
me.
de pasar
You can
Toretto por afuera de mi
still
casa.
save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Yeah.
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it.
Vale, pero esto es
Don't let
literal.
time choose for you. Don't let time
Ouch. Pure de Stanley. Hola. ¿Me escuchan? Como que me puedo mover, pero puedo dar solo un paso hacia atrás y uno hacia adelante. What the fuck? Ahora sí que ya no me puedo mover. What? ¿Es literal esto del escape? I don't know, man. No sé qué cojones pasó ahí, pero de verdad no podía hacer nada. Vale, estamos de vuelta.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Tengo mis dudas con respecto a ese último final. No sé si lo saqué bien o si tenía que seguir haciendo algo más después de eso. Ni idea.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Supongo que ya... No sé si ya... Pero creo que he revisado lo máximo que he podido por la parte izquierda, así que como no conocemos nada de este lado,
This
vamos a
was
mirar
not
por
the
ahí.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ok.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Okay.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Pero no puedo volver.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
¿Seguimos?
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Dos caminos de nuevo. Bueno, en esta pasada no vamos a hacerle caso a nada de lo que dice. Seguimos derecho.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
No esperaba que
I'm
esto
not
se
your
moviera.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the
What?
fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's
¿Dónde
someone
vamos?
you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Hay un camino ahí.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
¿Ella?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
What? Bueno, había un lugar donde parecía que desde el montacarga ese uno se podía tirar. Y antes me dejé una puerta a la izquierda.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. Oh, no, you can't.
What?
Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of
What
being a
the
real
fuck?
person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack.
Practice. Practice. Well.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Okay.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay. Ooh. Música de que las cosas no van por buen camino.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
What? ¿A qué se refiere con eso, señor? Esto quería leer yo. Vale, como peligro de caída, no saltar. Pero antes la plataforma esta no tenía esas barandillas. Ok. ¿A dónde debería ir ahora? Estoy devolviendo. Vale, gracias.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Ok.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. But that means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vamos a hacerlo de la izquierda, pero porque me parece que estaba haciendo memoria recién y me recordé que al final hay 2 botones para el tema del control mental y yo le di a apagar. Quizás se puede encender.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ok, no ha cambiado nada acá.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Puerta, hay luz atrás. Cerrado. Cerrado. What? Esto cambió.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
What?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
What?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Espera. Lo hice, pero no lo cumplió. No sé por qué.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿Qué pasó ahí? ¿Qué acaba de pasar?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Pero what? Me dice que vaya a la de la izquierda, pero voy a la de la izquierda. Y se reinicia acá.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly,
Vale.
hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Ok. No estoy terminando de entender esta parte.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why?
What?
For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
No.
I have to.
What the... ¿Hubiese alcanzado a llegar a esa puerta? What the fuck?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
¿Y esto nos trae al principio? ¿Un reinicio? ¿Otra vez? ¿What? Acabo de sacarme el final canónico del juego. Not bad. Pero bueno, gente, hasta aquí el episodio de hoy de Stanley Parable. Me gustaría que me dejaran saber en los comentarios o con un like, como ustedes más deseen expresarse, si es que les gustaría que siguiera, porque me parece, o lo tengo en realidad más que claro, que para nada he logrado completar el juego con todos los finales. Quizás sacamos el final ahora que correspondía, con los créditos y todo, pero sé que hay más finales pendientes porque, por ejemplo, lo dije, la parte del botón al final, de presionar el botón que no, me imagino que algo cambiará. Me faltó el camino a la izquierda por el lado derecho, después de la sala azul esa. Lanzarme del montacarga, había un camino abajo que no sé si se podía seguir o llegar directo hasta el fondo de esa almacén. Pero la verdad es que el juego me tiene sorprendido. Sabía que tenía esto como grado de locura en su trama, pero se pasó. Ya les digo, si quieren que la historia continúe, que saquemos el resto de los finales, o por lo menos hagamos el intento, porque tampoco voy a prometer que los pueda sacar, pero hagamos el intento de seguir intentando conseguir el resto de los finales del juego. Ya saben, háganmelo saber con un like, con un comentario. Ya saben, pueden suscribirse. activar la campanita para que reciban notificaciones de cada vez que subimos un video nuevo a este canal. Y nada más que decir, gente, se me cuidan mucho por favor y nos vemos en el siguiente.